Welcome back. I'm Gary Parr.
And I'm Vonna Pfeiffer.
You're listening to Fiber Talk, the twice weekly podcast. This being the midweek show of the twice weekly podcast of the Fiber Talkers. That's what we could call ourselves, Fiber Talkers.
Yeah, we've definitely been doing a lot of talking lately.
Yeah. It's still dorky. Never mind, we aren't doing it. No. So, sponsored by, each time that we do this Wednesday show, Vaughn and I, we get the Sassy Jacks sponsorship. So we appreciate that from Kim and the Sassy Jacks folks, which I think these days is probably just Kim sitting in her store. The rest of them, I don't know. That's it'll be interesting to learn how that all gets dealt with after the fact, because I'm sure there's been, for all these shops where they've had to close their doors, you want to keep your employees going if you can, but then you don't have people walking in the store, so I'm sure there's been a bit of a learning curve there just in how to handle things.
Yeah,
and then you get busy and you need help, and then you're not busy, and Yep. So let's see all the things we have going on here. Now, still want to keep in mind, Hannah Longstreth, May 1, 15% off the kit at Sassy Jacks, and she has those in stock. She's shipped to Vaughn and I. We both have ours. So that starts May 1, 15% off. Then the Royal Garden kit is 15% off, and that is July 5. Ooh, that's going to be a big day.
Well, I keep on thinking, oh, Hannah Longstreth, that's off a while yet. And I was looking at the calendar last night, and I was like, crap, that's right.
Nope. No. But a little over 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, no, coming right up. Yeah. Yep. So, and then Kim offering free shipping in the U.S., and a flat rate of $12 international, which I got to believe is pretty good.
I would say so.
Yeah. So all that from the Sassy Jacks Stitchery. And she'll be sponsoring the first hour, Sassy Jacks sponsoring the first hour of our Easter Stitchathon this Sunday, coming up this Sunday. Ooh, that's going to be an afternoon ride there.
It's going to be fun, I think. Might be a little long for us, but I'm looking forward to it. The girls are they are tuned in, ready to pick winners, I guess.
Yeah, boy, they're gonna be busy. We have so much stuff that Kim, Sassy Jacks alone has 15 kits. Now these are kits, not charts, kits. 15 kits to give away, and is offering 20% off your order during the afternoon.
Wow.
And that just starts us. So that first hour, Sassy Jack Stitchery, 20% off on your order during the afternoon, and she has 15 kits to give away. Then still waiting to hear from some of the other shops, but Fire Poppies, as we know, is giving away a Lowry stand. That's huge. That's really huge. Cindy Baldwin, who is a listener, a loyal listener, she has 6 books so that we can give a book away every hour.
Wow.
Which is, that's pretty cool. We have from Painted Pony, Debbie Woodard, 3 hand-painted needlepoint canvases with stitch guides from Patricia Sone, which is pretty amazing. Just all kinds of. Debbie Rowley has given 8 charts. Wendy Wolf has a couple of charts. Christy Goldsmith, $50 gift certificate to Cross My Heart, local needlework store in Columbus, Ohio. All kinds of them, and I'm only about halfway through the list, I think, getting these organized. So, it's going to be huge. So there'll be stuff all afternoon, chances to win stuff all afternoon. Join us. Really, really would like to see us have 1,000 people in the audience at some point in the afternoon. That would be huge. I hope we can do it.
I hope we can too. Yep. I feel like we've worked hard enough to get 50 or 50 people.
We do 50 people before we start a live show. We got that part.
Oh, shoot. We've worked hard enough to get 1,000 people to watch, and I hope that 1,000 people does join us sometime. So
yeah,
please tell all your friends.
That would be great. Yeah, please spread the word. Exactly. Spread the word. Tell people about it. Going to be an afternoon of needlework stuff. Yep, bring your stitching. Put it on the TV. We might even get a stitch in or two. No, probably not.
Are we? We haven't figured out what all's going on with us, right?
No, we haven't. We'll just be there.
We'll just be all set up for do anything. Do a tap dance.
Right.
Maybe do a cappella song. Interview some people. Stitch.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We got some people already who've said that they would be guests, so that'll be fun. So yeah. It's going to be a good time. Sunday, noon to 6 Eastern, the Fiber Talk Easter Stitchathon.
Yeah.
So you're stuck at home? We got something for you to do.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yep. Wonder. We'll see how this goes. Might be an annual thing. I think we'd move it to Saturday if we did it, though.
Oh, okay.
Rather than because a normal Sunday where families are getting together, that's kind of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's get through the first one. Let's get through the first one before we start getting stupid.
That's a problem we have, getting stupid before we know what's going to work out.
Yeah. Let's just get through Sunday, and then we'll see if we want to be stupid again. So, and the rest of the schedule now, tonight we'll have our normal quarantine stitch hour, but then there will not be a Friday night live show because that's Good Friday, and Vaughn and I are otherwise occupied. Mm-hmm. This year watching church. Well, I'm helping broadcast the church service, but Vaughn watching Mass on TV. But still, Good Friday night not happening. And then Saturday night, we had said we were going to have a quarantine stitch hour, but we're not going to do that. So there will be no quarantine stitch hour Saturday night. I have to help broadcast our Saturday night vigil service. So. No Saturday thing. So it'll be tonight, Wednesday night, quarantine, and then Sunday will be the Stitchathon, and then we'll be back Monday with the quarantine hour and be back on our regular schedule through the rest of the month. So,
awesome.
Yep. And people had asked about us going on beyond April. We committed to do all the way through April. We're going to get there, and then we'll see. We're not opposed to it, but we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe if we didn't do it every Monday, Wednesday, and whatever we're doing, Saturday, maybe just one time a week, maybe twice a week, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking if we cut back at least one, that we could keep doing that.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get there first.
Yeah, let's get there first because I might be so sick of you and you might be so sick of me.
I'm never talking to her again. That's it.
What in the world did I have going in my head when I said this? If
I have to say one more word to her, I'm going to shoot myself.
I will say this. We aren't texting as much as we usually did.
Well, no, because we got nothing to talk about.
What do you want to talk about? I don't know. I don't want to talk to him.
It's been covered 15 times.
Even my husband noticed that.
That the texting is diminished?
Yeah, he goes, have you been talking to Gary? And I go, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday night. Yes. And he goes, well, I meant texting because you don't seem to be texting as much. And I said, what do we have to say to each other? We're talking to each other 5 times a week?
Yeah, I got nothing.
The well is dry.
It's
right.
Dry. That's right.
Oh shoot.
So what else we got going here? I'm working. Oh, that's right. You started us. That's right. You started us down this path. So I'm working on the Textured Treasures needlepoint piece, and then going to finish up the Debbie Rowley opal piece, while still doing cross stitch. I've just decided I'm just going to do a mix. Whatever strikes me at the moment, that's what I'm going to do.
That's what I've been doing, and I feel like happy about I feel like, oh, what am I going to do today? Since I have I know that sounds crazy, but I do feel good. Like I worked on Sunday. I took like a Vana day on Sunday after we went to mass, and I say I took a Vana day. That sounds like I laid in bed all day, and I didn't. I got up, went to mass. We got up at 6:30 and vacuumed and mopped and everything, our whole house at 6:30 in the morning on Sunday morning.
Mm.
Then, I know, isn't that crazy? That's a little weird.
It's a little loopy, yeah.
Yeah. And then at 9:15, we went to mass online. I say we went to mass, and there's been people on my Instagram and on Facebook was like, your church isn't closed. Yes, it is closed. When I say I go to mass, I mean like I turn on the television and I watch it online. That's how I go to mass. And after that, I cooked. We have on Sundays, we have like a brunch. So it's like some like lunch foods and some breakfast foods. So we cooked that. And then after that was all cleaned up, then we went for our walk. So about 3:00, I was planning on having just what I do all day by myself. It didn't happen until 3:00, but then I started stitching because I had the whole day occupied. But I started stitching, and I stitched on Anasazi Song. And I usually don't stitch on, I don't know why. I just wanted to stitch on that, and I had the best time stitching on that. So I've got all of the outline done on Anasazi Song on over half of it now. So
you're flying.
Yeah. Yep.
And you said you're kitting up the next one already.
I'm thinking about it. I haven't started yet, but I'm thinking strongly about buying the chart and sending it and getting it kitted up. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. I'm doing these other things. Yeah. No, yeah, I just, when it became clear we were not going to get Anya's Day done anywhere close to Easter, it was like, okay, I'm just going to do mix and match. Like I have Anya's Day sitting right there. So tonight I will probably, when we get done with the show, I will probably pick that up and go with it. It's hard to do. It's hard to do on a show.
Yeah.
Because, the two times that I think it's 2 times I've done it on the show, afterwards I've had to rip out everything because I did it in the wrong spot or any number of things because I wasn't able to focus. And so it's easier to do counted canvas stuff on the show like that. So,
yeah.
And even there, I've been careful to set myself up such that what I stitch I can do without full attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There's just a lot going on when we're both, like when it was a stitch with Gary Saturday, it was okay because you could just sit and stitch,
right,
and I could like MC the questions and stuff like that. But it's hard. It's hard when you're trying to stitch and watch the questions or watch what people are asking or saying or whatever, and stitch and, you know what I mean, and carry a conversation. That's a little bit over my multitasking threshold.
Well, and it's the comments and questions and stuff that are the fun. You know,
yeah.
To me, I really enjoy that when, have discussions with people and comments, and that's the fun. It's like Monday night there were people, at least it seemed like there were some people who were interested in the stretcher bars that that I'm using, and so that was not in the plan, but that comes up, and so we give a little show what that is and how it works, and I mean that's the fun part, and
yeah.
The stitching, poke away at it when we can, but that's fun. Those quarantine hours are fun. I've been enjoying those.
I have been too, and we have had a solid number of people joining us, and it's almost like I feel like I've almost become friends with them. Like I recognize their name, and
right.
So it's when I say that I don't really have any local stitching friends. I have a friend that quilts. That we're both quilters, and she does cross stitch too, but we we can't get together now at all. And right. I only see her about once a month, usually once or twice a month. And I really don't have friends. I know that sounds sad and pathetic, but that's really honestly true. I don't have any friends.
Just such a tragic life.
And so it is. I mean, like I have you, I talk to you, and then I have that's my husband and my kids.
Well, that would be one, yeah.
Yeah, he's my best friend, but I mean, like I don't really have any, and so it's like it's kind of nice. Don't you feel like it's nice because you kind of got like a?
Oh yeah.
people say these are, I've heard people say this is my tribe and these are my peeps. Well, I feel like we have a Fiber Talk family or a Fiber Talk friend circle. And I really have enjoyed getting to know a lot of people. I mean, not intimately, of course, but you don't know deep, dark secrets. They might probably know more of mine than.
Yeah, I would guess that. Yeah. But no, it has, because it's been fun. And each time, what we had last Friday, we cleared 537 people we had at maximum. Yeah. But we're right around 400 with these quarantine shows, so it's fun, and it's good to know that for an hour in the evening, we're giving people an hour of needlework escape, I guess.
Right.
And that's that's just great. But I enjoy the questions and the comments. It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't talk about. I think that some people have said to me, I don't just want to go and talk about what's going on in the world. We don't talk about that. We
Not
really
much.
don't. We talk about, and when it's brought up, typically we don't discuss it. It might be brought up between two people talking on the message part, but we don't talk it online. And it's truly, Gary and I meant it truly as a release from what's going on in the world, just a happy time. And that's what it's been, in my opinion. So we've had a good time.
Yeah, you can get that news anywhere you want. This is needlework. Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Different. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been fun. Good times. All right. Now, last time you and I gathered for a Wednesday show, we had a list of 10 things we haven't done but want to do and why.
Right.
So we got through, I think, 4 of them for each of us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Which was actually more than I thought we'd get.
Yeah.
So there we go. So, all right. So we're going to return to these.
Mm-hmm.
What's left of the 10? Oh, we got, let's see, there's 7 for me.
And 8 for me.
And 8 for you. So, yeah, that tells you how much we got done. All right. So if there's 8 for you, then we got to get you down to 7. So I'm going to pick one.
Okay.
Well, let's do the hardanger. I really want to learn this. Don't know where and how to start. So let's do that one.
Okay.
So we've already made some progress on that, I think.
Yeah, you've sent me you've sent me some links from Ilka, and I'm going to work on those. And then I have found a couple of charts that I had and had squirreled away, and they don't seem like they're too hard. And I thought I would try some of Ilka's, hers to get me my toe wet, and then start doing it. Try to start doing those. The 2 I want to do is from that Patricia Ardale, and I have a Victorian house and a Christmas house, and I really want to do those because I have always admired those, and I had the patterns, and so yeah, I really want. Looking at it, I don't think that it's going to be anything that I can't do, to be honest with you. I think that I probably can teach myself, I think, maybe. And if not, I have you to say, hey, I'm having problems. Can you help me? So anyways, yeah, we are making progress.
You can do it. I mean, you have plenty of skills. You can do it. Mm-hmm. I think hardanger, I thought it was hardanger, but I got corrected. So I'm going with hardanger. Mm-hmm. Which sounds so Yankee American, but that's one needlework technique where I think you need to start small and simple. But then once mainly because of the cutting. Mm-hmm. And I think you need to start with some simple little thing, or even with just a doodle cloth, and put in some cluster blocks and cut and separate and reveal the bars that you're going to work with. I think you need to do that on something that if it goes in the trash, it goes in the trash. But it's also one of those that once you do it, it's like, oh, this is no big deal.
Right. Well, can I tell you a secret? I'm going to tell you something that you're going to probably be shocked about. I
doubt it. Truly doubt it.
About 2 years ago, somebody sent me a Victorian sampler bell pull, okay? Mm-hmm. And on the bottom of those is always hardanger, right?
Yes.
Well, they wouldn't cut the bars, and they sent the instructions and told me to do it.
Whoa.
When I finished it. Yeah, when I finished it. And I had never done it. And I called her and I said, you know, I've never done this. I don't know. And she goes, I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. You're just going to have to do it. And I go, well, what do I do if I screw it up? And she goes, just be careful when you read the instructions. And I did it. Yeah. I mean, that's what she would not do it. And so I did it myself. And so I've already cut and pulled. So the only thing I don't know is the stitching part, but that's what I've been like.
The stitching part's nothing.
Yeah. So there, I didn't even know what I was doing, Gary. And I just read the instructions and pulled.
Oh man, your heart must have been going 1,000 miles an hour.
You know, not really. I'm pretty bold when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, but someone else's piece, I'd have been freaked out.
I really wasn't freaked out, to be honest with you. I mean, I called her, you know, because I was like, now listen, you need to know, you know, I need to have full, you know, honesty here. And, you know, a lot of times I think I am honest. Sometimes I'm brutally honest. I don't know how to be any other way. I'm an open book, you know, and I have been my whole life. What you see with me is what you get. And I think that I shocked her when I said, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I have not ever done this, you know, and I was just telling her, and she was like, well, I can't bring myself to do it. You're going to have to do it. I mean, it was just like that. Like, it was like saying, you know, I ain't birthing no babies. You're going to have to just do it yourself.
Oh man, I give you all the credit in the world for having enough guts to cut that cloth. Oh man.
Yeah, and I mean that turned out fine. It was beautiful. So I mean, if I can do that, I figure I just didn't know what the whole blocks and how to read the chart and stuff like that. But yeah, after I've been exposed to the Queen, I was looking at when I told you that Patricia Ardale pattern, and I'm like, I think I can do this. So we'll see. I'm going to do some, you know, some of Ilka's, you know, some of hers to get me started. And then I think I'm just going to jump in and go and see. That's kind of my way anyway. So. Oh yeah.
You'll be fine. If you've already cut cloth, that's the biggest, at least to me, that's the biggest hump. And because like making cluster blocks, I mean, there's nothing to that. That's just mindless stitching. And then if you're doing dove's eyes or stuff, you need to know how to wrap them and a stitch path so that you end up at the right spot so you can keep going. But once you see that, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, that's just, they're really actually, when it comes to the bars and dove's eyes and whatever the other little techniques are that go in the holes, that isn't even stitching. That's just moving thread around. Like wrapping bars. I mean, you're literally just wrapping, you know, side by each. There's no stitching to that. And it's completely mindless stuff once you're set up. But it's getting that initial thing and then getting the threads cut and the holes open. You know, that's where if there's any work. And that's kind of what's cool about it, is it looks incredibly impressive when it's done. But the techniques involved are nothing. And it really is nothing other than making sure that you have those cluster blocks done and you cut the right threads. Because if you cut the wrong threads, I guess there are ways to save it, but by weaving in threads and so on. But you know, you don't want to do that. But yeah, once you get those cut and pulled out, I mean, it's pretty mindless stuff. But the end result is just, you know, beautiful.
Right. And you know. I'm sure you've noticed a theme with me. Like, I'm all trepidation and fear, and I don't have self-confidence in myself. Right. I don't have any, right. I don't have any self-confidence. And so I'm like, oh, I can't do this. But if you, or well, if you, not you, but if I look back on my life, everything that I do with my hands, everything I've taught myself. And so I don't know why that I always think I can't do something, because I really feel like I can, because if I always kind of wanted to quilt. And then 2-3 years ago, I was like, okay, I'm going to quilt. And I taught myself. And after I taught myself, then I took a class and realized, well, I really did know what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Same thing with cross stitching. I taught myself how to cross stitch. I taught myself how to sew. I've taught myself everything I know. And so, I think with you, you've always, I mean, I will say you have been very positive, and I've said this before, in pushing me. And so you're seeing yours and knowing that I have it coming up on the Queen sampler. That's just made me kind of want to do it myself. Now I don't want to do that's the one thing. Now this is one thing about Hardanger that I don't really want to do. Like, I don't want to make those doilies or those table runners or, I don't want, that does not appeal to me.
Yeah.
But like the, snowflakes or like I said, those Patricia Ardale patterns, they just really get me. But they're houses, houses is my thing. Like, buildings is my deal.
Right.
And that's what they are, and I really do like them. And so I've decided I'm going to kit up at least one of those, and I do try to do one. So we'll see. And I even thought, now this is crazy talk here. I even thought,
okay, so you're still normal. All right, keep going.
Yeah. This is when I was looking at her patterns, because I have at least two of them. When I was looking at them, I was like, I think I could design houses like this. Now, how crazy is that? That's pretty crazy.
You could do it. Yeah.
I think I could. Yeah. I almost think I could. But anyways, I need to at least do one first so that I can prove that I can
try that first. Yeah,
but anyways, yeah, I really do want to learn. That's my next thing. Hardanger is my next thing. So
yeah, see, now you say table runners and those kinds of things. See, I have my eye on a table runner in one of Yvette Stanton's books. I think it's the early style Hardanger. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's where it's at. There's a table runner in there. I would really like to do that and be able to put that on the dining room table.
Really?
Yeah. I think it would just be a heck of an accomplishment to do something that big.
Now, I can't remember if it was Yvette or if it was Ilka, but did some of them, or maybe it was somebody else. Maybe it was the Schwamwork lady that said that people in the old days would make something to like hang over the bed, and it would only be pretty on one side, and it was what the Schwamwork or the Hardanger or whatever on one side, and on the one that was against the wall that nobody saw, it was just, ugly. Who was that? It was somebody from Fiber Talk, somebody that we interviewed from Fiber Talk.
Yeah, I remember that being said. I don't remember who it was. It was not Luzine, because we haven't had her. And it's been a long time since we've had Yvette, so it had to have been somebody else.
Yeah, it was somebody. I can't remember if it was Ilka, who it was. But anyways, that always has intrigued me, because I thought, a bed skirt. Maybe because I have one of those. Our bed is one of those tall boy, antique. It's not antique, but it's made to look like an antique, and it's tall. So I have to run and vault into bed at night because it's. And
now I think I'd pay money to see that.
And it's so it has.
Does Keith have a stopwatch? Do we try to set records or?
What always cracks me up, it's a whole scenario when I go to bed at night, because I have, so he's always laying in bed, waiting, when is she going to get in bed? Why? Because he will not turn out the light. He will not go to sleep until I am in bed.
Okay.
We sound like the Flintstones or something. But anyways, he's always laying there, and he doesn't have his glasses on, so I know he can't totally see me, good. And I'm certain I'm blurry. And, anyways, he just watches me, because I have to I get over there, I put on some lotion, then I have to put on my wrist, I have to wear, what are those, braces on both of my hands when I sleep at night. And then I usually read, but I read on my iPad. So then I have to find my glasses so that my cheaters, so I can read the iPad, because I have to do it in darkness form so that he can fall asleep. Anyways, it's a whole 15-minute production. And the whole time, the whole time he's just like laying there, watching me. And then I'll like hop into bed because I do kind of have to hop. I'm tall. I'm like 5'8" and a half, 5'9". And I have to like kind of hop into bed to get into bed. And he just always like watches me. Like I have to fluff my pillows. And I don't know. I do this whole thing every night. And last night he goes, come on already? Just get in bed. And I was like, okay, sorry. So anyways, it's funny. He's very patient.
Clearly.
Yeah,
Clearly he is. Clearly.
And I think it's sort of sweet that he won't go to sleep without me being, you know what I mean? Some people would be like, that's archaic. But he doesn't do it because he's like keeping his thumb on me. He just wants me. I guess it's like comforting, I guess is what the word is. He cannot fall. And he's told me this. I can't fall asleep unless you're in bed with me. I think that's hilarious. I can fall asleep without him being in bed with me, but he can't, he can't fall asleep. So anyways, whatever. It's all, everybody has their own thing. And he's always very patient about me and my 301 things I have to do before I go to bed.
Jeez. Wow. I just kind of get in bed and go to sleep.
No, we have a whole production. And then now, since here, this is not talking about our top 10 things, but one other thing is Ellie, now that everybody's at home, Ellie kind of is very, she calls herself an extroverted introvert. And so the last 3 nights she's come in and has slept in our room on the pallet that I have always made in our room for whoever wants to be in there watching television with us. And last night she comes in and I go, are you sleeping with us I say sleeping with us. She's sleeping on the floor. She's not sleeping in bed with us. I go, are you sleeping with us again? And she goes, I just need some away time.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, you're in here with us. And she goes, yeah, but you don't talk to me. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, she got the short end of the stick on that because she had the house to herself, and then they kept coming back to her.
Yeah, keep on coming back. So they're all back here now. And then Katie comes over to brush her teeth because she brushes her teeth in our bath. My house is like Grand Central Station. I'm certain that people have caught on to that by now. So that Katie will not take a bath, will not use the bathroom, the Jack and Jill bathroom that are for the kids. She will not use that. She has never used that. She only uses our bathroom and the master bathroom. I don't know why, but she always has. So anyway, she comes sauntering in last night to brush her teeth, and she saw Ellie laying on the pallet, and she goes, are you sleeping in here again? And Ellie goes, yeah. And she goes, but I miss you. I want you to sleep with me. You're my partner.
Oh, jeez.
And Ellie goes, I'm sleeping in here by myself. And Katie goes, she was being funny, but she goes, I'm lonely like that. And Ellie goes, get out of here. Get away from me.
Yeah, you need to sell tickets. I think there's money to be made there. Mm-hmm.
I believe that I could probably be yes, I think that we could have a very popular reality TV show.
Yes, I think so.
I really, honest to God, do believe that people would pay money to like have somebody follow us around and watch us.
Yeah, I think so. I think that is the case. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you're going to start the Hardanger now. See, and I have noticed a pattern with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll have something new, and then you'll be talking about it and asking for help and wanting this and wanting that. And then help is there, and then you just do it yourself anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Mm-hmm.
I know that's bad. I'm bad about that. I don't know why I'm like that, but I just am. But yeah, I know if I need help I've got lots of people that'll help me.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. But no, you'll just do it yourself, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. That's how it'll go. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's how it'll go. Yeah, well, I guess that was on my list too.
Yeah,
the Hardanger. Because I have several techniques on my list, but that book that I bought, Yvette Stanton's book, Early Style Hardanger, that's I want to pull that book out, and I want to do some of the things, some of the projects that are in there. I mean, it's not really a project book; it's an educational book, but there are several projects. But I want to do those because. You know, I like techniques like that where you go back to the very, the
Beginning.
origins. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what that book is all about. Going back
Mm-hmm.
to the origins. How was it done originally?
Mm-hmm.
And go back to that, not some Americanized version or, changes through time. But that was the purpose of that. So that's why that book sits there, and I want to go back, get some linen, and do the work, learn whatever nuances and techniques there are, and then come away with a piece of hardanger that's done on linen and done the way that they used to do it.
Right.
So I think that's it. Just because I just like that. I like that, finding the origins and doing it the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yep. And Yvette did all the research, and that's the trouble with her, is so many of her books are techniques where she went back and got the origins, and I'd like to try all those. I don't own all of her books, but I'd sure like to try and learn all those different whitework techniques, and then you take Schwamm whitework, Luzine Hoppel. That's another one I'd like to at least do enough to feel like I could understand it and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Not do it as an ongoing thing, but just to have a little experience with it, have a couple of pieces that you do that you can at least show to people without being embarrassed, and just to experience it, because I don't think any of them are particularly difficult, but there are nuances and that make them either really good or just really average. And
Right.
so yeah, that book, I was really glad when she came out with that, because it really gives a good rundown of how that was done originally. And
Well, Schwamm work is beautiful.
yeah,
I mean, honest, if you have one that, yeah, it's just beautiful. There is a book that I always look on Amazon, and it's called Schwamm Whitework, and it's by Renate Fernau, I think is how you say her name. And it's the kind of stuff like what I would really like to do, like those flowers in a vase, or you know what I mean?
right.
And with the heart and the birds, and that's reminiscent to me of oh gosh, Dutch, like Pennsylvania Dutch. What is that called? Like a fractor look. I feel like it looks like a fractor. I think I've said this before, and that's appealing to me. And and have you ever noticed, like speaking on Schwamm work and white work, have you ever noticed that there's a lot of Japanese people that post on Instagram their white work stuff? Have you ever noticed that?
No.
I follow Schwamm, hashtag Schwamm embroidery and hashtag whitework, and on Instagram, and Japanese. Well, I assume they're Japanese people because they're in that writing, that text. I don't know what they're saying, of course.
Yeah.
And just beautiful. I mean, just honest.
But see, that's interesting, because now you make me wonder if there's some connection, with Chinese or Japanese needlework. If the white work came out of that, or if there's some connection there historically.
I don't know, but they do. I mean, I don't think so, because it was all from the, like, what, Russia area? Where was it? Dutch?
Well, I think Schwamm is German. Here
Yeah.
we are speculating, but I think it is primarily German. And then,
Oh, yes, it is. It
yeah.
is Germany. Here it says that right
Yeah.
here. Yeah, but anyways, there are a lot of, like, very fine Japanese needlewomen, and likely needlemen too, but very fine needleworkers from Japanese, because I follow from Japan, because like I said, I follow Schwamm work, and I follow hashtag white work and something embroideries. And anyways, always fantastic pictures of white work and Schwamm work. And it seems like a significant number is from Asia. I'm assuming Japanese, and that's what the people that are doing it are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because see, that the history of it intrigues me. You know how one became another.
mm-hmm.
Where did the connection happen? Where did it extend out? Because you know they're all connected at some point.
Right.
Nothing started just from scratch.
No.
There's so and so did it, but did these techniques, and they had silks and so on and so forth. And then someone wanted to do something similar, but all they could get was white thread.
Right.
And so then they kind of developed their own thing.
Right.
And then someone traveled on a ship or got a piece back from one of those sailing ships long ago from Africa and took that. And because you know there's connections to all of it. And I that intrigues me how that happened. What, like to do a world map and be able to have arrows on it for, you know, this came from this and this came from that, and this one stitch from these people then became a whole different technique over here. And yeah.
Well, and so there's, Schwam work looks a whole lot like trapunto work. Have you ever heard about that?
Never heard of trapunto.
Okay, so it is a quilting technique. And
that would be why I've never heard of it.
yeah, but I'm telling you what, it's usually done. I have one from my great grandmother. It's usually done in all white. It's like all white front and back quilt. And then they quilt it by hand, and then somehow I don't know if they open it from the back side or they open it from the front side, and they stuff it. So it's like, it looks like it's embossed, or, you know what I mean? It like sticks up.
Oh.
But anyways, and it's always typically in white and like very heavy, 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 heavy design quilting. And so anyways, that's always, Schwam work has always kind of reminded me of trapunto. So.
But see, that's, that's the other part. Yeah. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I don't know, because
did somebody say, well, I saw a quilt, I bet I can do that with needle and thread, or was it the reverse? I saw Schwam work, and hey, I can do that with a quilt. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning, and it's used, like I said, it's usually done in like on white, and it's always like very like not garish or anything like that. I'm sending you a picture right now because you need to see this.
Okay, and it's trapunto, T-R-E?
No, Trapunto.
Okay.
Trapunto. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Looks like it. I mean, that's the way I do it.
So it is just really, really just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous.
Yeah, see that when people do for certificates and stuff and have to do a research paper, that's right where I'd go if I were going to do one. I'd go and want to follow through history some technique. Where did it come from?
Right.
Take it and go in reverse, all the way back to Egyptians, or all the way back to Japanese or Chinese, or came out of Siberia, or any whatever it is. Right. Yeah, I think it would be fun to do.
Yeah, it is absolutely gorgeous, and like I said, I really don't know the whole thing about it. I didn't even know that it was called trapunto until about like a year ago, when I was like, well, those quilts, and I kept on trying to explain it, and people were looking at me like, what are you talking about? And finally, I just found it myself. So.
Well, I'm pretty excited because it was last Friday that we figured out that there's who was it that's going to do the Russian translation for us?
Yvette. Or no. Ekaterina.
Ekaterina, my favorite. Yeah, my favorite. Ekaterina had Yvette on my mind there. Is willing to do translations, so I can talk to Russian designers, and then Jessica Grimm will do German translations. So that opens up some doors. Yeah, coming up. Got to set them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay. All right. I just took one off my board, which was Hardanger. So, all right, you get to ask.
Okay, gold work.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to do gold work. I do.
Yeah, I don't, I know you do. You said that when we were interviewing Allison Cole, but that does not appeal to me, gold
No.
work. So I want to know why it appeals to you.
Because, well, it's always the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's, well, number one, it's old ancient techniques.
Right.
So that's appealing out of the gate. But to be able to take the metallic pieces and threads
Mm-hmm.
and couch them down or use whatever techniques, apply them to the ground cloth,
Mm-hmm.
and to get the precise lines that they're able to get.
Yeah, I mean, it is stunning work. I mean, if you just like put in gold work on Instagram, I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And see, the other part, and people haven't heard this yet because it was Jessica Grimm and I talked about it when we recorded last week, which is coming up in a couple weeks. I'll air that show. She was talking about how you can't really, if you go to a museum and you see gold work vestments, altar cloths, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
you really can't appreciate the impact and the beauty of those things because they're built to really display at their best in a church where you have, say, lots of candles or you have lots of different lights coming in from windows, because you get the reflections of all kinds.
Mm-hmm.
And that they really come to life there, where in a museum with one light on it so that it doesn't fade the cloth colors, you just don't get the same impact.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, that would be, I'd like to create that and then be able to experience that with, holding it up in sunlight or whatever it might be. But it is, it's working with those materials, and then to get the look that you take Allison Cole. I mean, her stuff is just amazing. And to be able to achieve that without the up one, down two, up three, down four routine, I think would be, and you're just working with a whole different medium with metals, with solid metals or thinly made metals, but whatever. And then these threads that aren't supposed to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I want to do that. And I have one little gold work kit that I just haven't tackled it, and that's my starting point. Is
Oh,
that.
really? You do have a gold work kit?
Yeah, and I bought it from a lady in Canada. Not going to come to me till after we're done. But yeah, I have a little pendant gold work kit. So that's what I bought it, and then so that I'm going to do that. That's going to be my get your feet wet. And then I'm breaking out Allison Cole's book, and I'm going to see what I can do.
Now, I will say that, gold work, if you look at inspirations and stuff like that, a lot of the gold work that is in inspiration magazines, or I guess, I'm not very well versed on all of what Allison Cole does, but she has some that looks almost like, what's that called, where they use gears and stuff like that?
Oh, steampunk?
Yeah. She has like a steampunk look sometimes with some of hers, I believe. That seems to be like what a lot of the younger designers are doing. But if I was going to do it, I would want to do like what Avalia does. What's Krista West?
Krista West. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because see, that's what, like you think about, I'm Catholic, so, there's a lot of, yeah. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance in all vestments that a priest wears throughout the liturgical year.
Yeah.
And, when we get confirmed, you can only be confirmed by the bishop. The bishop comes and smacks you in the face. I didn't mean to say it like that, but he does that. And when he does that, he wears his big, that big head thing that they wear, the Pope, like the Pope wears, and that's all, very highly stylized, very rich in gold work and stuff like that. So I guess honestly, to me, it's like common. I know that sounds bad. I see it all the time. Every time I go to mass, I see gold work, either on the altar or on the priest, So I don't know if I don't know why it doesn't. You would think that it would. Uh, I would really want to do it, but I really don't want to do it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I
but see,
do
that's
love watching it or looking at it.
yeah. But see, that to me, that I see that stuff. And I want to create a little piece that has that look. I want to experience that. Because that where our daughter lives in St. Louis, they got married in the big St. Louis Basilica, the main thing, and that's the same kind of thing. I mean, all the trappings, all the mosaics, all the gold, all the trappings. But I still remember when I was photographing weddings, and all the weddings I did over 10 years, the one that still sticks out in my head, other than the ones that were bad, things went bad, but those were fortunately only a few. But the one that sticks out is I got assigned to photograph a full-blown Greek Orthodox wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Holy smokes. And it was in some massive church. When I walked in, I'm sure my jaw dropped. But then the other part that sticks in my mind is when the priest came up in all of the trappings and told me exactly where I could go, where I could not go, what I could photograph, what I could not photograph, and don't you dare go beyond this spot right here. I mean, he was not screwing around either, and he scared me because they just, they just have their thing. Yeah. And I got the wedding photograph, but I was nervous the whole time because I did not want to offend the religious practices.
Right.
And this was Full Metal. These were not people who were getting married there just because they wanted to be in an opulent church. These were full-blown Greek Orthodox families, serious. And,
my big fat Greek wedding serious.
Well,
I understand because they're not, they're still, they're Greek Orthodox, but they're kind of Catholic based, you know what I mean? So there's a church here in town that's Greek Orthodox. And now, while it's not a very large church, it is very opulent, and they have a very opulent, like, garden, like way of the cross type thing, and gold on it. Yes, and it's outside, and it's very, very opulent. And see, where I come from, I grew up in Hobstadt, Indiana, and so all the churches down there are just like what you said the St. Louis Basilica was. Now, it's not on such a large, grand style, but these small churches that these little, we're all descended from Germans down there, and, they're farming community. Yeah. And these modest people that came and established these little towns, St. Meinrad, Hobstadt, Darmstadt, St. James, all of these little burbs that are down where I come from, they have the most, they're not large churches, but they are for those communities. And they are like what you saw. They have frescoes, they have gold pillars, they have, all of this stuff, and all the, you think about what they came from and all the money that it took to make that church what it is. Beautiful statuary, gorgeous stained glass windows, and, hundreds of years, 150, 200-year-old churches is what I grew up in, and seeing that. And, like the big confessionals where you walk up and you think oh gosh, I'm going to either meet heaven or hell when I'm walking up to this confessional. You know what I mean? Right. Like it go behind and when I came up here to go to college, that's all I ever knew. Right. And I come up here to go to college and I go to church for the first time, and it's like, what is this? And then you go like to the confessional, and it's just like a room with a guy standing, a priest sitting in there, and it's like, where's your, your kneeler? Where's your veil? Where's all this stuff? And that was like a big culture shock for me. Sure. That, it really honestly was. And, so, cause I was very sheltered. I grew up in a very small town. I had always been Catholic. We lived our life according to the Angelus. I know that sounds crazy and ancient, but that is true. And, so it's just like, it was a big culture shock. So I understand, I kind of understand what you're talking about and stuff like that. It just never has interested me to work it, but I think it's beautiful. And I hope you do get involved in it, because then that'd probably make me get involved in it if you start doing it. So.
Well, I am going to do it, but see, I have the utmost respect and admiration for that kind of a thing, because you're describing little towns where they pour a ton of money into a church because the church and the faith is the center of the community and the center of their lives.
Right.
And we've gotten away from that. But then you go to Europe, and I love going to Europe. I don't enjoy going to Europe because I just don't enjoy the time changes. But what I do really love is going through those old churches and seeing all of that, and seeing the architecture and the altars and all of that. To me, I just have the utmost respect and admiration for all of that, because it was, it was built by people who, that's where they put their money. They wanted it to be the special focal point, but then it was all built to last forever. All of it.
Yeah. And that's why it's so, how I describe where I grew up is exactly how it kind of still, it's still like that.
Right.
The church is the center of town, and it is the center of family life. And that's how I tried to raise my family. And you're right, we're kind of getting away from that. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that it's like that. So it's good that you have like this needlework passion to like kind of keep those old time way. You know what I mean? Keep old things alive, because it's sort of sad that it's fading to a certain extent.
Well, you say passion. I actually have to act on that. I actually have to take a piece of goldwork metal thread and do something with it. But I will. It is really, it sits there, just in front of me, the old carrot on the stick thing where, all right, at some point, just drop everything and go try this.
Right.
And because it's the way it looks, it's the techniques to get there, but it's also materials that are hard to get anymore. There's the one operation in England, and it seems like there's somewhere else where there's one, and that's pretty much it to get this material. And I really would hate to see it go away just because of lack of interest, because it's so beautiful. Right. You look at, and then the other part of gold work is not just doing a pure gold work piece. It's when you take other needlework and then you use gold work as part of it.
Right.
Where it either it's the focal point or it enhances the other needlework. There's so many beautiful pieces where it's a mixture of techniques that brings a whole different dimension to it. That is I think is worth exploring too. So, yeah, it's out there. I got to do it. I have the books. I have 2 books, goldwork books.
Wow.
So I got to do something with them. First, I need to make that little pendant just to experience it.
Right.
That's step 1. That's not going to happen today, though.
No, not today.
No. All right. We got 2 of mine, one which matched yours, and then 1 more of mine. This list of 10 could go on for, I don't know, 6 months. Yeah. Let's do 10 things, and we can do a whole show on that. Or 3 or 4 or 5 shows.
But it's inspiring people to look up stuff. I feel like at least it would inspire. That's what fiber. When I was listening before I was a part of this, I didn't know about all this Schwam work or anything like that, and it made me look it up. So I hope that we inspire people to look up. What is this, and see if it would appeal to you. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons that this got started, was to expose people to different things, because you really need to, there's so much to do. There's so many different things that can be done. And once you get the basic skills down, pretty much all of it is at least approachable. So
yep.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Give it a try. You might like it. Yep. Okay. We are back tonight. well, depending on when you listen to it, Wednesday night, quarantine show. Then no Friday night show, no Saturday night show. And then Sunday, noon to 6 Eastern, is going to be our Easter Stitch-a-thon. Do participate all afternoon. Lots of stuff to give away, lots of needlework to talk about, some guests, the whole bit.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun.
Yep. It will.
We're like the big old Easter bunnies coming at you for 6 hours.
Yeah, that's what we're like. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. All right. Thanks to Kim and Sassy Jacks for sponsoring the show. Be sure and get your Hannah Longstreth kit ordered up because we're getting started on May Day, May 1, 15% off, and then get ready for July 1, Royal Garden. I got that kit out the other day just to make sure I had everything. Getting ready. Vanna's big birthday.
Woohoo!
21. You're going to be 21. You'll be able to drink and everything.
I know, right?
It's pretty exciting.
I know.
Yeah.
Although somebody the other day, where was I? Well, it wasn't the other day. It was probably a month ago. It was before all this stuff happened. I was at the quilt shop, and they go, how old are you? And I said, I'm going to be 50 in July. And they go, really? You don't look that old. And I go, oh, gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. No.
Keith, it was a good day. I don't look 50.
I know. That's what it is a good. Yeah, that was. Whew, goodness.
Yep. So July 5, we start the Royal Garden. That canvas is 18 by 18.
Oh, it is?
So that means that the piece is 15 by 15.
Holy smokes. I didn't realize it was that big.
It's a beast. Yeah, but it's a bunch of big stitches. It'll go relatively fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why we have a bad thing at picking out like the biggest stuff.
Well, this one's just because I had it kitted up, so I kind of imposed it upon you.
Oh,
but
well.
It's geometric, you know. Once you get one side done, you got it. You got the rest. You know, it's okay.
Yeah. I've heard this before. You know, once you get this done, it's just, cake after that.
Yeah. Go with that, Lana. You'll feel better. All right, we're out. Thanks to Sassy Jacks. Talk to everybody Sunday.
Bye-bye.